hello. It's Yay, aka Madashay. And today, I'll share what I said when I asked my former high school teacher and college professor to write recommendation letters for law school. I want to note that I did follow a template that I found on Google, but I modified it to fit my needs. The template served as my starting point to help me structure my request for recommendation letters. The part I had to figure out, and what you will learn by the end of this video, is how each component is a foundational piece to the next step, and how everything can flow seamlessly for the convenience of your professor. So let's begin. In the subject line, you want to put letter of recommendation for dash, which is your name. It is direct, and in a world where professors receive numerous emails, he or she can prioritize accordingly. My name is Yeside Talabi, but in your class I went by Yeye. I took your 2016 Fall Art History Honors class. You may remember me emailing my ideas and possible theories before the writing assessment submission to know whether I was on the right track and my ability to pay attention to details. I enjoyed your class because I learned the importance of artistic and architectural terms around us and what significance they play in our modern society and other countries around the world. I was so glad when I received an A+ in your class. Here's another version of the similar structure, and let me know in the comment section if you can identify what I'm trying to establish with these two examples. My name is Yeside Talabi, but in your class I went by Yeye. I took your 2013-2014 English 3 class. You may remember me reading the lines of Mama in the book called A Raisin in the Sun, and I was glad when I received an A in your class. The first components that each request needs to have is a personal connection and what particular role or task you did in that class. If you don't have a good memory like I do, I suggest you write it down in a notebook or type it as a note on your phone. This will be handy in the future. In both examples, I mentioned specific details for why I liked their class, which is helpful for the professor or teacher to know to possibly keep doing for future classes, and more importantly, it highlights specific instances that I engage in the class. This is why I emphasize repeatedly the necessity of this video up here, because if you don't participate in class, the professor will not have a clue on who you are. If they do not know who you are, why would they recommend a student they don't have a vague recollection of? So you want them to do a favor when you couldn't even bother in their class? You have to show effort. It doesn't matter if you don't feel like it. It's a prerequisite for your future. Another thing to note that both examples include is how active or hands-on I was in their class and what the results were. Since these were recommendation letter requests for law school, I wanted to mention these characteristics early so the professors can already associate those words to being a lawyer. Lawyers have to be goal-getters and be dedicated to the work they have to do with their clients in order to have the best outcomes that are within their control, of course. And they have to have the courage to be seen if it's going to further advance the client's objectives. If you're finding this first step useful, I'd encourage you to check out Prof Recommended. It's a downloadable PDF that helps you to navigate the process of asking a professor to attest to your achievements on your behalf. It differs from this video because although I'm sharing what I said, my digital checklist will tell you the criteria each step needs to have to make sure your request to the professor is communicated effectively based on what I have said in this video. The video complements the digital checklist, so watch it in entirety. If you want to reduce the guesswork in your request, I highly recommend Prof Recommended, which you can purchase down below. I am currently in the process of applying to law school, and I'm trying to gather letters of recommendation. Because I found your class both enjoyable and engaging, especially when it came to the image presentation, I decided to ask you, Would you be able to write a strong letter of recommendation for my law school application to X university? I am currently in the process of applying to law school, and I'm trying to gather letters of recommendation. Because I found your class both enjoyable and engaging, especially when it came to open discussions about The Great Gatsby and A Raisin in the Sun, I decided to ask you, would you be able to write a strong letter of recommendation for my law school application to Y University? This leads to the second component, which is expressing appreciation to them and what kind of impact their class had on me. After I appreciated them, I stated the reason why I was contacting them and why them and not someone else. I am aware that words are baseless, which is why I provide specific examples to demonstrate the effects their syllabi had on me. It is more believable. Feel free to workshop this idea in your request, but my thought process was it is another thing they could add in my letter if they decided to write the letter. Then I continued by saying, I will attach some of my accomplishments to this email to aid the process. Since I will have to send you a letter to resubmit the letter of recommendation, once you confirm, I will do it. The deadline for the application is December 21st, 2020. If you decide to write the recommendation letter, I can send a friendly reminder on December 14th, only if you have not submitted the letter before then. If you do not feel comfortable writing me a strong letter of recommendation, I understand. Thank you for your time. Lastly, the next steps and the deadline. This allows the professor to plan accordingly, consider if they can take on this task, and what I will do to minimize mental overload, forgetfulness, and to ensure the letter is submitted on time, which benefits me. Note the line before, the quick thank you note. I would like for every professor that I reach out to write a recommendation letter, but that is not reality. And one of them simply said they wouldn't. This is why I would encourage you to ask several. Create a list and ask early. So what if they say no? Keep showing up. Rejection stings, but if you ask several people instead of placing all of your hopes into a few, it will minimize the sting. Also, no one owes you a letter. This will be voluntary, meaning the professor will not receive an income from it. All we can do is ask and be proactive if they decide not to. If you like this video about how to request a strong recommendation letter, please like, subscribe to the channel for more school advice videos, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss another video. If you want to learn the 4 things I learned from my first year of grad school, watch this video right here. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next video. See ya!